everyone, it is your boy Winster, and of course I am back at it again with another video. I hope that you, the person watching this video, is having an amazing, fantastic day. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to my YouTube channel members, shout out to Staying Young, shout out to Thomas Mead, shout out to Corey, shout out to Wyme. I appreciate your guys' support. And for those who are interested in the channel member perks, which you guys get, I shout out on every single full video. You guys get early content to all my full videos. And if you guys ever want to play games with me, Master Duel, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, testing, me helping you get better at Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys will be able to schedule something along those lines with me when the time works best for both of us. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We have a giveaway going on. And I'm going to put a video on screen so you guys go ahead and go check that out and get even more details. But today we're going to be breaking down the new set crossover breakers, more specifically the new archetype that got announced in it, Maliss. Go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and break them down. We have three main deck monsters. The first one is Maliss White Rabbit. I personally don't like the Maliss name on how it looks. I love the OCG. It's like the upside down A. Looks freaking insane. But I don't know what the P is for. But let's go ahead and read this effect. You take no battle damage from battles involving Maliss Link monsters that point to this card. All of the Maliss monsters are going to have some effect like that when they're pointing to this card or a card. So there's definitely something to keep in mind. But you can only use each effect of the following effects of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special, you could set one Maliss Trap card from your deck with different names from the cards in your graveyard. If this card is banished, which all the Maliss main deck monsters have, you could pay 300 life points as cost, special summon it. And if you do, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Link monsters. Overall, White Rabbit, I think it's a very powerful card. Its effect to set a card, as you'll later see, is very crucial to the strategy. Its banish effect is really good because you'll be able to combo it with other like main deck monsters, which we will get into. But it's a good starter, easy way to special summon. For sure going to be playing 3 of this beast. Next, we got Maliss Cheshire Cat. Is it Cheshire Cat? Cheshire Cat? Guys, I honestly don't know. I've actually never seen Alice in Wonderland, which these cards are based upon. So let me know in the comments section. Cheshire, I don't know. But this card's effect, monsters destroyed by battle with the Maliss Link monster that points to this card are banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. It's a very powerful effect, considering how strong Shifter is in the current format, probably being the best hand trap at the moment. Something similar to that or something that banishes like this, super freaking crazy. But its effect on field are, you can only use this effect of this card once per turn. During the main phase, you could banish one Maliss monster from your hand. Then you could draw 2 cards. Super freaking powerful effect. You'll be able to banish a monster in your hand, draw 2, and then that banished monster will be able to be special summoned and then extend even further. Very powerful effect. And of course, when it's banished, you pay life points to special summon this card, and then you're locked into the Link monsters for the rest of the turn. All the Maliss monsters have that clause, so something to keep in mind. But overall, I think its effect is really good. Like I mentioned, you'll be able to banish and then summon, then be able to extend even more. Because there's not a lot of support for the archetype, I definitely think this card is going to be needed to be played at 3. But I don't think you actually need to play it at 3, if that makes any sense. As time progresses and there's more support for the engine, I definitely think this is going to probably go down to like maybe 2, potentially 1. I could definitely see it being a 2 because it's still a very powerful card. 2 cards, which is freaking insane. Can be a good starter as long as you have other Maliss monsters in your hand, which isn't always going to happen. You are going to be breaking sometimes. So that's why I'm thinking it's not the best card, but it's still overall a powerful card. Then we got Maliss Dormouse. Maliss Link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. During your main phase, you could banish one Maliss monster from your deck. Also, all Maliss monsters you control will gain 600 attack for the rest of the turn. If this card is banished, pay life points, special summon it, then you're locked into links. But this card is probably the absolute best starter in the deck. You summon it, banish, and then start to extend, which is freaking crazy. And you're definitely going to be playing 3 of. Then we got our first Link monster for the Maliss archetype. It is Maliss Red Ransom, 3 material link monsters. Material for it is 2 monsters plus a Maliss monster. Its effect is the original attack and defense of all effect monsters your opponent controls are swapped while this card points to a monster. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you could add 1 Maliss spell from your deck to your hand. If this card is banished, of course, pay life points, special summon it. Then you could banish 1 Cyberse monster from your deck. So its effect to swap the attack and defense are pretty crazy. I don't really see swapped often on card effects, which is crazy. But this will be able to get over some very powerful extra deck monsters, just powerful monsters overall. Usually the defense of cards is pretty low. But the fact on special summon, this searches out 1 Maliss spell from your deck to your hand. Keep in mind there's only 1 spell card for the Maliss archetype, and that's the field spell that we'll be touching base on a little bit later on in this video. But very powerful in my personal opinion. And then you'll be able to banish the Cyberse monster from your deck when you special summon it through its banish effect. But that does mean that this card needs to be properly link summoned before you activate this effect, or even able to. Definitely something to keep in mind. Then we have the boss monster of the archetype, Maliss Q, Hearts of Cryptor. I don't know. I apologize if I'm messing up these names. Let me know in the comment section. But it is a 3 material monster. 3 monsters including a Maliss monster. So this actually has to have 3. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Its effect, quick effect. You could target 1 of your banished Maliss cards, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, banish 1 card on the field, non-targeting. This effect and activation cannot be negated if this card points to a monster. If this card is banished, pay the life point, special summon it, and if you do, its attack is doubled. Does not say until the end of the turn, and you can only use each effect of this card effects once per turn. Its removal effect is just absolutely crazy since its effects and activation of its effects cannot be negated, and like I mentioned, it doesn't target. It's super broken. Crazy attack stat increase, which I don't think will happen too often. Will happen more often than not. You will have to swing into a 5,000 beater, which is freaking crazy. Great boss monster, reminds me of Access Code so much, and obviously it being a link-based strategy, it's going to be able to play all those cyber monsters that you'll need to be able to extend to link climb. The last link monster is Maliss White Binder. Binder, I don't know. I feel like I'm messing up all these names. I apologize again. Dark 2300 attack, 3 material monster, 2 monsters including a Maliss monster. Its effect, if this card is special summon, you can target up to 3 cards in your graveyard. Doesn't have to be Maliss monsters, something to consider, and then banish them. Of course, you'll be able to extend off of this, right? Whatever you link into, hopefully you haven't banished them already, and then special summon off of their effect, and then you'll just be able to spam even more. Its effect on field, you could set 1 Maliss Trap card from your deck or graveyard. And if this card is banished, of course, pay life points, special summon it, and then draw 1 card. Summon effect is good. You're at least going to summon 1 monster off of it, in my personal opinion. Set your trap, which is really good, considering how strong some of these traps are. Its draw effect, I feel like it won't come up, but it's nice to have because you'll be able to draw a card. But I think the biggest takeaway from here is that you're going to go ahead and set that trap card, which is freaking crazy. And you can do it from the deck or graveyard. And then we have our first and only spell cards for the archetype, Maliss in Underground. It's a field spell, oddly enough. Its effect, when this card resolves, you could banish 1 Maliss card from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Maliss link monsters you control gain 3,000 attack while you have 3 or more banished Maliss trap cards with different names. If you control any Maliss link monsters, your opponent's monsters can only target them for attacks. You can only activate 1 of this card once per turn. This is a crazy freaking card. The fact that the Hearts Link monster, the boss monster, could double its attack, which is freaking crazy, and then still get a 3,000 boost off of this, your opponent will have to swing into your link monsters as well. And it's a starter. You could banish from anywhere, hand, deck, or grave. So if you have multiple copies in your hand of different Maliss names, you just banish one of them, special summon it. This card is absolutely busted. So I'm about to butcher all these names, and I apologize in advance. But this is Maliss MTP 07. I feel like I'm missing something here. Maybe I'm just not a big enough fan of Alice in Wonderland. But these trap cards all have the same effect where the turn that they're set, they could still be activated. But by banishing one face-up Maliss monster you control, and then you add one Maliss from your deck to your hand. Then if you control a Maliss Link monster, you could banish one card on the field. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. This is absolutely crazy. The fact that you could activate a trap card the turn that it's set is just absolutely insane. It reminds me so much of Trap-Trix Holtea, and that card is super powerful, and everyone thought that card was broken on release. Now imagine an archetype that isn't a trap based strategy, which still kind of is at the same time, but has some very powerful link monsters. Come to think about it, is Maliss an updated version of Trap-Trix? Let me know in the comment section below. Adding a Maliss monster from your deck to your hand is absolutely insane. This is a very powerful card. I think the one downside to all the trap cards from the Maliss is that you get a bunch of effects from having different Maliss trap card names that are banished, but the fact is that they're still traps, and if you open multiple copies of them, they're not the best, even though how powerful their effects are, like getting set and then activating them. So that's definitely something to consider. And then we got Maliss GWC06. I feel like I'm missing something here, but the art on this is freaking funny. I love it. But this effect is, again, you could activate it the turn that you set it by banishing one face-up Maliss monster you control. Special summon one Maliss monster from your graveyard or banishment. Then, if you control a Maliss Link monster, you could gain life equal to the summoned monster's original attack. You can only activate one of this card per turn. This is a time card. I don't really think there's much explanation there. The fact that you gain equal to the original attack of the summoned monster is absolutely crazy. And it's an extender. It gets set off of other monsters. This card is absolutely broken too. And the last Maliss card that we're going to be talking about is TB11. I feel like that's some sort of sickness, tuberculosis 11. I don't know. As all the other trap cards that are from the Maliss archetype, you could activate it the turn that you set it by banishing a face-up Maliss monster you control. Special summon one Maliss monster from your deck. Controls 3 or more cards. You could special summon one Maliss Link monster from your extra deck instead. The summon monster cannot attack or activate its effects this turn. You can only activate one of this card per turn. This card is just absolutely insane. Special summon one Maliss monster from your deck, or if your opponent controls 3 or more cards, not monsters from the extra deck, just cards, you could special summon one Maliss Link monster from your extra deck instead. Yes, it can activate effects. Yes, the summon monster cannot attack, but who cares? You're going to go ahead and link claim all with one freaking card. A trap card and a monster turned into a link 3. That is freaking insane. So, my overall thoughts for the Maliss cards. Seems really consistent at first glance. These powerful trap card effects that are usually locked behind having to wait one turn are just ignored because you could activate these trap cards the turn that you set them. And those powerful effects are super good because they'll be able to summon something, which in turn would banish something, which in turn that banish will now be able to special summon. And because you banished it, you'll be able to get some more pluses off of that. I do think that this deck has crazy amount of extenders. I think the only downside is that it's a very small card pool at the moment. It's going to be a new archetype. There's going to be plenty of support coming forward. A good example is look at the Centurion. It was really good on release and a lot of people did sleep on it. As time progressed, they just got more and more and more support, and this is going to be no different. Yes, you're locked into link monsters, but considering that you're going to OTK anyway, I think it's negligible. It has some crazy stat boosts as well. Because it's a Cybers, it already has great support because you're going to be able to play cards like Sign It Mining, Parallel Seed. There's going to be a new card coming out, I think, in Supreme Darkness, Contemplate Skipper, which is a freaking amazing card. So what I'm trying to say is that this archetype, because it's generic in terms of Cybers, is already going to have a crazy amount of support. Goes without saying, it has crazy OTK potential as well, because all the cards that allow Cybers to link climb and just get into access code Talker, then decode Talker, and then just be able to OTK for crazy amounts of damage. Potentially, maybe play Shifter, I don't know, but something to consider if you do decide to play Shifter, which I do think you can. But if you do, then that means you're going to have to play maybe a more pure build. Yes, the Maliss cards be able to special summon themselves when they're banished. Not a lot of other cyber support are able to use that kind of ability. There are some exceptions to the rule, but definitely something to consider. I definitely think that this archetype is looking really promising. I am really worried on what it's going to bring to the table because it might be pretty dominant in my personal opinion. But now, I want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think of the Maliss cards? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? You don't really care? You're indifferent? I personally am a fan. I'm liking the art. The art looks freaking crazy. Even though I butchered all the names, the art on the chart cards look freaking insane. But let me know in the comment section below, guys. But thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. My name is Winster, and you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace out.